We're live.
We are live,
We're back.
baby.
Finally made it to
I told
episode
people we'd
2.
be back. I, I told people we'd be back.
You know
I
what?
told people we'd be back a lot of times.
It's hard. It was hard to get to episode 2. It's the hardest thing we've ever done.
It might be the hardest thing. Actually, it might be the hardest we've had to work to get to an episode that we didn't intend on missing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Right?
It was sort of,
Because
it was like, it was like, just a little behind the scenes for you folks watching out there. It was every week we'd be like, the day before, one of us, mostly me, would be like, I can't do it again this week. And then the next week, I can't do it again this week. I can't.
but it was
It's
it
just over and
wasn't
over again.
yeah. Yeah, I know. It was just like, but it wasn't even on. There's certain things like, oh, listen, I've got this thing. I can't do next week and this week, but it's like it came like a Tuesday or like Tuesday or Wednesday morning. You know what I mean? Like it was like that's just the funniest thing about it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You know what? Things happen. Things happen. I had a couple conventions. It's
I
just
mean,
how
you
it
weren't
is.
doing anything.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything, dude. But okay. Just switch topics really quick. What are we doing?
Yeah,
What are
yeah,
we?
yeah.
We're back.
Well,
We're back.
welcome back, everyone. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. So we are working on our Conan. So Um, I did not. Let me see. Here you go. Take the. I didn't take the break lightly. I did do. I worked some stuff. Worked on my Conan here. Kind of roughed them out. And just had like a basic pose. I still got a lot of anatomy to kind of to fix on them, but think I've kind of got a pose that I want, so I'm working on that. What about you?
I think last time I was doing some classic looking Conan, but I I'm just gonna start over. I've been doing, at least in my day to day work, I've been doing a lot of sort of like facelifts on, or reimaginings of like older properties for, or older characters for various properties, and I think I'm gonna play around with that. Like, I'm just gonna reapproach Conan a little differently. Like,
Okay.
not like the classic Frazetta Conan. I'll try something else. I'm gonna try something else.
Okay. I'm like I'm in between like Arnold and a little Frazetta, and I don't know if I want him to be young or old. I did like a really quick. I threw it into Blender and I lit it. I think I showed you this,
Oh yeah, dude.
and
Yeah, dude, it's
and then
awesome.
painted on it just to kind of figure out like the design of what I want. Um,
It's there, dude.
because
You're
it's
there.
obviously got some issues. But he kind of, what I've noticed with Frazetta's Conan, he kind of looks like a Japanese samurai mask.
Yeah, yeah. He's got like almost like a stylized version of his own face, like Frazetta was doing.
Yeah,
Like a much
yeah,
wider, like stylized version of his own face.
yeah, totally, totally. It's like really wide, like mouth and like yeah, it totally looks like Frazetta. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
just
it
like,
just reminded me of like those like weird, those like demon faces. Let's see, I don't even know.
yeah, like the kabuki stuff, right?
Yeah, the kabuki stuff. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like really like wild looking. Well, you know what I mean. So like yeah. Maybe not the kabuki stuff. Now I'm thinking about this. Like
Oh man.
I just said, yeah, yeah, yeah. But some wild, you know what? They're more like Indonesian,
Oh okay. I think I think I know what you're talking
you
about.
know. Uh, let's see. Maybe not. I don't know what I'm talking about. I honestly don't.
That's all
Chinese.
right. I like to. I mean, when I'm working on a piece, though, I do that. If there's like I look at tons and tons and tons of stuff, and I have like a pure ref board just full of anything that looks like interesting to work with, and then I like build off the back of
Yeah.
that. Just because, like, just I can do some stuff in a vacuum a little bit, but it's nice to see like what other artists have created throughout time, and sometimes it's like other artists' pieces, sometimes it's archaeological shit. It's like I'm all over the place. Maybe there's like cool shapes in this culture, and there's interesting shapes in this culture, or if I want to like get the feeling of a whole culture, I'll have that in there too.
Yeah, I think that's like it just adds a little bit more layer to like the story of the who the character is.
Yeah,
I'm kind
yeah.
of noticing that too. Like after after messing with it, I did a little like I redrew. I was messing around with scribbles and stuff for a pose, so I'm basically gonna really chop him up and break the pose just a little bit more. Really push the pose so he's like really hunched over, almost like a wolf. Uh, and yeah,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
like
We'll
give
see.
him
It might be a
arches
complete.
back a little bit more.
Yeah, like let me show you on the crayon. See,
Because you got him
there
upright,
it
which
is.
is like a that's like a
There it is.
sword
Yeah.
fighting stance is like
Yeah,
upright.
yeah. I was gonna like kind of push him almost like he's bending. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that's
Yeah, no, that makes
like
sense.
really
Yeah,
really push him. And so then I want him to be kind of like uh I don't know if I want him to be like old. I don't think he's gonna be old. He might be mid-career Conan. I'm
oh
not sure yet.
dude, old
But
man Conan sounds pretty cool though.
Old Man Conan does sound really cool. I I have to see. I have to see
I
because
remember like
yeah, Old Man
Frazetta's
Conan.
Conan has like bangs or something, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
I mean, that's just like the style of the times, though.
Here we go. Yeah, this is like super 70s. Check this out.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
like shaggy bangs. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
fun to like the idea of, and I mean, I try to do this in some concept art stuff, is to not give people the hairdos that are acceptable now as like cool. Like if you look at like traditional Viking hairstyles, it's like very silly. We would think of it as very silly. Like they'll do like these like looped knots that are like just on the side, like a little bun of all their hair, like just on the side of their head. But
Right.
when you see it on the TV show, like Vikings on the TV show, they're all of like cool, like they look like what we would consider like a cool hairdo now. Like it's all shaved on the sides, or it's
Right.
the same
Right.
reason. This one of the same reasons why like any almost all modern samurai movies don't do the like shaved top of the head, which was like super traditional for samurai. Like you'll see it in Japanese samurai films, especially like Kurosawa ones. But a lot of the times they don't do it because it looks in a lot of ways like with our modern sensibilities of hairstyle, we will most like the audiences will think like that looks kind of silly.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's actually true. That's really interesting because I would think that um, you'd want, yeah, you would want to put something. I guess in those designs, like you can't go too crazy because it's got to be something that grounds it to the present time.
Right. Like if you go really authentic,
Yeah.
like a medieval movie. If you had like real medieval hairdos, they look stupid. Like European medieval
Right,
hairdos were
right,
ridiculous. But that's just to our
right.
modern sensibilities.
Yeah, that's interesting. So like you can't help but get become dated then, right? I mean,
Yeah, no matter what. I mean, look at like the hairstyles in
yeah,
Star Wars, in Return of the Jedi, like all
right,
those generals
right,
with the like kind of like
right.
bowl cuts or whatever.
The bowl cuts. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, that's really interesting. I never thought about that. I actually never thought about that because I would think that the um, oops, that the timeless designs would be timeless designs, but it's not at all. It's
No, I
kind of
mean,
like when Rogue One came around. Like it was like you know, it looked kind of wild.
right.
Like
Because
the hairstyles were all 70s.
and they did a good job in Andor of doing that. Like they kind of not everyone, but there were a few characters in there that like called out to the '70s hairstyles that I thought
Oh,
was
really?
yeah. This show's amazing. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
Dude,
Andor
I
is
have not.
absolutely
I have
incredible.
not.
It's incredible.
I
It's like
have
the
not.
best Star Wars
I'm
in a very
like,
long time.
I am. I need to see that movie. I mean, I need to see the series. I really do because yeah, I'm just so behind. I'm behind on everything.
No, no, I
What
get
did I
it.
see recently that I saw Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, and what'd you think?
Why did I see Wakanda for? Why did I see Wakanda Forever?
We can make this a
I don't
review
even know
show.
why.
I didn't think, dude. I'm
Um.
gonna whisper this into my mic right now, but I thought it was
Okay.
bad. I thought it was bad
I was,
as
yeah, it
a
was really bad.
movie.
Yeah,
Visually, I
as a
thought it was
movie. Yeah.
beautiful, but as a film, as a
Visually,
motion picture, oh, I thought it was really bad.
visually, I thought it was so intelligent.
Yeah, totally.
Like visually, I thought it was so good. The story, whatever. The story could have been. I thought the story just had its moments, but as a plot, I think it's really interesting. But as a fleshed out story, it just felt unfinished. But you know, what do I know? But yes, I am like 100% with that. Like I love the designs, man. That's what it like breaks my heart when I see such good art and like the
Yeah,
story
yeah.
that's with it is like ugh,
There was a lot of good
because
stuff.
it's just
The like specifically, I know the artist who worked on his designs too. But Namor, the Submariner,
yeah, man.
dude,
Yeah, man.
holy
Dude,
shit, that was good. That was
yeah.
like world class. Such a cool way to
It's
like re-envision that character. But then like story
not
wise,
not
it was
not
sort of
over
like
design,
not
not over design it. Not
yeah, not over
sorry. I'm
design.
like talking over you.
No, no,
Yeah.
I'm with you. But I mean, but then story wise, it was sort of like I kind of wish he was more like the Submariner, like his like deep hatred of everything that isn't, everything that's, I don't know, the Submariner kind of hates everything that's not of the sea.
Right. But that's like the plot had it set up like that.
Right.
And when they fleshed it out, they kind of did an about face, you know.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the way, spoilers, everyone.
Oh,
This is a
jeez.
spoiler stream. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'll change
All
the
right. We
as
in the
we while we were doing this, I'm gonna make notes about the stream because I don't want
okay.
people to because I can go in here and change the details, but I'll put like Wakanda Forever spoilers.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. So I was bummed. I was bummed that that good art like that. I thought it was just like everything about it. Like I thought Namor's costume was excellent. Like really just wow. You
Yeah,
know when you just see stuff and it's just like wow. Wow, 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 wow. Um I know it doesn't, I don't sound very eloquent, but yeah.
that is some of the best words I think you've ever put together.
Dude, seriously. Especially like since I'm trying to relearn like I took too long of a break doing from ZBrush, which I miss so much.
Good luck. Now you got to relearn
I,
everything.
yeah, I got to relearn everything. Um,
I've taken just a couple weeks off of touching ZBrush, so I guarantee I've forgotten everything that there is to know about the program.
oops, yeah, it is.
It's amazing, but it is so like
It's amazing.
the menuing and dare I say, convoluted menuing is so difficult to navigate initially that, it's like this like super complex labyrinth that is very easy
Yeah.
to forget where you went and where you
And
came
there's
from.
and there are multiple ways out of it. And when you find a way out, it's like when you find your own way out of it, I think it's the most like rewarding thing ever. But then, so I've completely like I've forgotten. I haven't forgotten all of the way, but I've forgotten parts of it. And so it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
So but it'll
You'll come
it'll
back.
come
It'll
back.
come back. It'll come back to you, dude. I was gonna say because we haven't talked about movies a lot in episode 1. I think we talked a lot about art. Maybe we talked about movies.
Did we talk about Sorry.
Did we talk about what?
Did we? I thought we talked a lot about movies. No.
Maybe we did, dude. I can't remember. I can't remember where I even live most of the time. But with my friend JJ, I was trying to, the very few times that I get out to see any humans, we're trying to do like double features where we watch the original of a movie and then we watch like a remake. So just guess where we started. Guess where we started. I want you to try and see where we may have started with this. So we just started.
Total Recall.
No. That will be on the list, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
That Total Recall remake though, that is going to be rough. No, but close. You're very close. Same director. If that doesn't give it away, you're dead to me.
Which one?
Same director of the original Total Recall.
Of the original. Oh.
Paul Verhoeven.
RoboCop.
We started with RoboCop. And
I like that.
I'll say the Joel Kinnaman RoboCop, the remake with Joel Kinnaman and Gary Oldman and who else is in that? Michael Keaton. I didn't like it.
Who plays?
Joel Kinnaman plays RoboCop.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
You
like
didn't
it.
like it
when it first came out. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was absolutely horrible, except for the one scene where they take him apart. The like super visceral, still gives me chills. When they like take him apart, and he's just a friggin'. It just like, this is all we are, dudes. We're just brains and some lungs.
Yeah.
and a heart.
Yeah. He's just like freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. But I watched it again. It's actually pretty good. Not great, but not terrible. And nothing compares to the original RoboCop. Like the original RoboCop's a masterpiece. But it's the new one's not terrible. It's okay.
Okay.
Oh, Noah's saying in the chat that he worked on that movie. You worked on that RoboCop? Hell yeah, dude.
That's cool. What's up, Noah?
It's yeah. Okay. So that's my review. It's pretty okay, but I don't know. What did you think? What did you think of that RoboCop?
It's been a while since I've seen it. I liked it. I thought when I remember liking it a good amount, and just thinking like, you know what? They didn't ruin it. They didn't ruin it. Is it gonna be? You're never gonna capture that like. That just tongue-in-cheek or kind of like really really macabre gallows humor of the 80s, because everybody thought they were gonna,
That's like
they were like an hour away from nuclear holocaust.
well, that's like Paul Verhoeven's staple. Like that was his thing. Like he did it in a bit in Total Recall. He does it like a whole ton in Starship Troopers. That's his thing. That like RoboCop is essentially, to me, like a dark comedy and a huge commentary on on politics and technology and science fiction, and it's just really good. And they kind of did some of that
Yeah.
in the new one.
I mean, he's the thing about like that's I think that's the reason why I they did some of it, but it wasn't like OCP was like horrible, and but it's like over the top B movie horrible.
Yeah,
If it
yeah.
makes sense, like it
Like
didn't
it's a
have, and I didn't
satire.
right, and I'm not gonna expect it to have that. So I thought it was I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good attempt. I enjoyed it. I remember enjoying it, but it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I
And I'm
maybe
glad,
my
you know what? I'm glad they tried. I mean, like the black, the black suit,
I hate that's still
probably not
okay.
my favorite.
Yeah, that's still the thing I dislike the most is when they show his suit the first time. You're like, hell yeah, that
Yeah,
was one hell of a reimagining of the original suit. Super
that's what I
good.
thought too.
It was
Yeah,
like this looks like the RoboCop suit, but like modern. And where does his little visor go? Who
yeah.
knows? It vanishes. But when they made it all black, I don't know. It took it to a weird level. Like he looked like a Cylon, and maybe he was influenced from Battlestar Galactica or something. But the Cylon-y look with the red light, he looked like a bad guy. Like that. That's
He
what I
did.
was.
Didn't they change the shape of the helmet too?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
I just remember not liking. He looked too much like an alien from like Area 51, in my opinion, or the
Yeah.
aliens from Indiana Jones and the King with the Crystal Skull.
Oh, dude, we're not supposed
You
to
remember that
mention.
one? The one
No, we're not. We're not supposed to mention that
you
on.
forced me to go see.
We're not supposed to mention Kingdom of the Crystal Skull on this show. I don't know. I don't remember if you saw. I don't know if you saw the note about that, but we're not supposed to. Yeah,
Another,
we're
yeah,
not supposed to talk about that.
like these movies, man. Like, yeah. So, what I was gonna say about Wakanda Forever was that, um, so in that case, I didn't necessarily like the full story, but the design was great. Like even like the Black Panther, the Suri Black Panther design,
Yeah, yeah, dude. No, yeah.
where like
The art,
it, it,
the
it
art and
just
design
made
was undeniable.
it was just man, I was just like this is great stuff, man. This is great stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I agree with you. It just fell
but
down story
but
wise. It fell down for me.
yeah, for me, yeah, that's but what are you gonna do? You know? Um,
Complain.
so yeah, that's true. We should
No,
complain.
no. I mean, I won't. I don't want to. I don't want this to be like a that movie sucked. Everything sucked about it. No, like the production itself was incredible. There were some really like stirring emotional moments in it that hit me really hard. Just beautiful moments. It was just it fell down. For me, it just fell down on the story. The story fell down. The art was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Some of the best designs in a while. And I mean, it makes sense that it won an Oscar for costume design. It is glorious.
Oh, it did. Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
There were
I
maybe
thought
like one or two costume bits in it that I was sort of like, I don't know about that, but most of it was
yeah.
really, really pretty, really well
What a
designed.
good. I think I follow the costume one of the costume designers on Instagram from 9B Studios. I think they're called 9B. Philip something.
Oh, okay.
Philip Bote. But so Philip does he's part of the 9B collective, and they're like they've done Black Panther and like Jupiter's Jupiter's
Jupiter Ascending.
Legacy, Jupiter's Legacy,
What's that?
um, Westworld. Jupiter's Legacy is the one the Netflix. based off the
Oh,
graphic novel.
I have to check that
I
out.
mean, the comic book.
Dude, there's too many
I
things
thought it
to
was
watch.
good. A lot of,
There's too many things
yeah,
to
dude,
watch.
that's what I'm saying. So you're asking me, if I'm reading, if I'm watched Andor, and I know it's like, but
But here, so let's go back to this double feature thing then.
oh yes, the double feature.
What
I'm sorry, yeah. So,
literally what we have next is, I think we're gonna do whenever time allows, is the Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher,
okay.
which I haven't seen in ages, and I can test is amazing, but it could be awful. So I haven't seen it in forever. Um, and then I don't know. There's been so many Punishers. I mean, it's hard to compare it to the show because I think the show was really good. But we might pick like the first movie that maybe the Thomas Jane one that came out because I haven't seen that one. So
He still like loved being the Punisher. Like he's
I
still like
I like that
was
dude.
all
So
about it.
I bet it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I
Do you
think
see it?
what's his dude, I don't know. I mean, I think what's his face was like the best Punisher ever
Which one?
from Daredevil.
The show.
Yeah.
What the heck's that guy's name? Anyone in the chat want to help out? No.
Jeez.
I'm gonna look it up on the internet. He's from The Walking
I'm
Dead.
so yeah. Jake not Gyllenhaal. My God.
No, it's not Jake Gyllenhaal, dude. It's not Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know why I'm looking up. I should just look up The Punisher. I'm looking up The Walking Dead. Joe Bernthal. Joe Bernthal.
Yeah. Okay, phonetically it's pretty like it's there, right?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, you're close. That dude's and no one else is the Punisher to me. He's permanently the Punisher forever.
Yeah.
So good for
I
him.
think so for me. I mean, but yeah, I mean, they'll never make another one. But whatever.
I heard that Netflix might be making a sequel to that,
Really?
but it'd be Disney, and I don't know how Disney's going to do it with their, Disney's so squeaky clean. I don't know how they're going to do any of that like Daredevil universe that Netflix introduced because it was so rated R. It's so rated R. It is not
Yeah.
anything like
Well,
Disney would do.
I love the fact that they still brought that dude back in Spider-Man.
Well, he's going to get a whole show, a whole Daredevil show.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, but it doesn't have Deborah Ann Wall in it, and it doesn't have, and I'm sure it's not going to be rated R. It's just like, why is this show occurring? What's happening here?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, personally, in Hawkeye, when I saw that they brought back Vincent, what's his face?
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. Oh my God, I was gonna say D'Onofrio. I'm like, no, it's just like probably one of those like Jake Gyllenhaal, But okay,
You're like, I don't want to
yeah,
say. It
Vincent
sounds too
D'Onofrio.
Italian. I don't want to say it. Too
Sounds
Italian.
too
Sounding.
Italian. Too Italian. I was like, let's go, and then they like made him a cartoon character,
Oh,
like living out of a tiki
you're
bar, and I was
kidding
like,
me. Disney.
yeah,
Oh,
did you not see it?
no, I
Did you not
didn't.
see
I
it?
didn't. But like, I love Disney.
I thought it
but
was like
guys,
excellent until yeah.
things can be rated R. You can allow them to be for adults. You can allow some things to be for adults.
But it was like Hawkeye had this like tongue-in-cheek kind of not taking itself seriously humor, and I thought it was great. Maybe I was just
That's kind of been the Disney. Pardon me. That's kind of been the Disney vibe, though. Like they're kind of Guardians of the Galaxy and
yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah, the one freaking thing that it's just crazy to think that they didn't. It's like out of all the. Oh my God, Tyler. Oh okay, wait.
Don't get me wrong. I love
Just
Guardians
realized
of
it
the
wasn't.
Galaxy.
It was great. Don't get me wrong. It was great. It was just no James Gunn. Like, just he ushered in a new world for that. Like the fact that it was that comedy. Because people, when people were like, it's gonna be comedic. Do you remember the time when it was coming out? People were like, it's gonna be a comedy, and the script is great, and it was like lame. Like
Right.
how you gonna do a comedy with
Of
like
course,
characters we don't care about?
of course, the fans of it.
Um,
Sometimes that's the appropriate tone, though. Is the appropriate thing to do sometimes is to not take it seriously. Like when Taika Waititi did Thor, um,
Ragnarok, yeah.
was it Ragnarok? Yeah, that it was like a comedy, and that was so correct because Thor's like you have to nod as an audience member. You have to like suspend your disbelief. Like Thor's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
quite silly.
yeah.
So you just kind of have to like roll with it.
He's the last couple of Thors have been silly because they were trying to be before that because they were trying to be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, when they yeah, Kenneth
You know?
Branagh directing and like
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
few, they were like, we're gonna make it super duper serious.
yeah. And it's like in a lot of like their own Viking Lord of the Rings epic. Like yeah, we have it's just it's like people no, you don't really need. But so it was good. It felt like a Jack Kirby um movie that I felt like that and like the Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second one. I really felt that both of those felt like a Jack Kirby, like let's have fun.
I haven't seen any of those, dude. I haven't seen any of the Ant-Man
Dude,
ones.
love the first one. It's okay. You could tell that they, what's his face was the director, and then they had to get another director.
Oh, they did. Oh,
Um,
okay.
oh, who did Shaun of the Dead? Edward
Edgar Wright. He wrote it. Edgar
Edward
Wright.
yeah Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright.
Really?
He was he was set to he was directing Ant-Man,
Oh,
and
damn! I
then
love
he
that
had to
dude.
leave yeah, they had some creative differences, and they got another director, and he was the reason why like what's his face Paul Rudd was that hopped on Ant-Man because Edgar Wright was directing it. That
Oh
was like the
shit!
reason. Yeah, and he when they said how was the they asked him like what has it been like since you've had another director. He was like, well, Edgar's the reason why I
Well,
I jumped on here, and he was trying to be as like diplomatic as possible, but I don't blame the dude to be
that's
like,
too
what the
bad.
f.
Edgar
But
Wright's
so it was,
directed some of my favorite movies of all time, dude.
dude. It's so it, it- I could tell like he's also his own thing.
Yeah, he's got his
I
own. He
think they
makes
would
his
have.
own kinds of movies.
I think they would have let him come back. Like I think the new like this Marvel would probably let him do his own thing because they need help.
Yeah, I mean, they let Taika do
Because
his
it's
own thing.
like and Sam Raimi.
Yeah, maybe they might have gone too far with Sam Raimi.
You don't think they went too far with Taika?
They might have gone too far with Taika too. Um,
Might. Listen,
I like both of those
talk about
movies, but
another.
stylistically, they were like, "Holy crap, this is bananas."
Talk about like. Let's talk about that. Like that Thor, another just beautiful movie.
Yeah,
Like they're just. It is. I mean, beautiful. It's so well designed. I'm just like, um, I don't know. I'm like all about that. Like how well designed they were. What the story, Thor's story was like.
it was odd. It was odd.
Are odd. It was awful. Tyler, come on, man.
I
You
kind
gotta
of
call a spade a spade.
I liked aspects of it. It wasn't. It didn't hit me as bad as Wakanda Forever did. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's
I
because
don't know.
this is probably because I'm just like I've loved every movie that Taika has done, and there's like a particular styling to his dialogue and just cadence that tickles me. And so even though it was like it seemed out of place in a Thor movie, I was enjoying a lot of aspects about it.
Just, but it was just out. Like the story sucked. They took a really great series, The Godslayer
Yeah,
comic book series, and
Bale
they
was
just
good though.
ruined it. Yeah, he acted his heart out, but like, they made him say like a bunch of like one-liners, and it's just like, you know, Jane Foster's dying from cancer. You're putting that in, and then you got a bunch of fart jokes. Like, what are you doing?
Dude, this I think speaks to
Yeah.
like a bigger,
Like,
broader issue that that actually, I think leads directly back to what we were talking about with like why they're doing really silly stuff lately. And I feel like it's because the stakes are all gone now. The Thanos stakes were the highest they could possibly gotten.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and it's like, well, now what? Like, there's no stakes now. There's no like that was it. That was it. Like we gotta have Galactus now
yeah.
at this point. Like,
Right, exactly. And I mean, I just don't think. I think it was just inconsistent as a movie, though. Like you had these like you could have just tell small tales. It's totally fine.
sure.
Do what Star Wars did. Like look at the Mandalorian. Like that
Yeah.
first season was incredible because it was like it was just its own thing, and it was really small. It was like a western, and I'm like,
Yeah. I didn't like second season of it, but the first one got me hooked for sure.
yeah. Second season can't win them all, but I just really felt like the premise of the Mandalorian was like no one's watching. Let's let's have some fun. Let's tell this like cool Star Wars story. You
Dude,
know,
okay.
but
This leads me to something because you haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen Andor, but that is
yeah,
exactly what I think happened with Andor. And this is my hypothesis for Andor was that someone at the studio was like, "Hey, the the late 30 somethings and the 40 somethings really hate Star Wars right now. Can you just give them something that's their Star Wars? Like give them something from the 70s. They're gonna love it." And then they stopped. Then whoever the executives were that asked for this just kind of stopped watching, like stopped paying attention, and they made this show, and it's incredible for that specific reason. Is that they just were like, okay, how about there's no lightsabers? There's barely any for at least half the show, barely any stormtroopers even look at. There's no Jedi's. There's none of
awesome.
this stuff. It's just a spy movie. Tinker Tailor the Soldier Spy. It's a whole series. It's
Done.
just a spy show,
Perfect.
and
Perfect. Perfect.
and
Yeah.
it's flavored and tastes and looks like Blade Runner and all the great like stuff that was made in the early 80s, late 70s. Like the lighting is all like available light, like Roger Deakins or something was working on it, even though he wasn't. It's just beautifully done. And then it was a huge hit, and they were like, "Oh crap, we weren't paying attention," and you guys made something really cool. That's exactly what I
See,
think
that's
happened.
I think that's it. Well, I think that's what would like even like John like Mandalorian is kind of like that in the sense that John Favreau was like, listen, let me just do my thing here. I got an idea. And they're like, well, John, you did Iron Man. You kind of launched everything. Let's do it. And then you had
Yeah,
Dave Filoni, who was like, the dude at like he was an art. He was just he big one of the biggest Star Wars nerds ever.
yeah,
Um, who wrote this thing. I'm thinking like, yeah, let's just have some, yeah, just a Mandalorian. Oh, is it Boba Fett? No, it's not Boba Fett.
And it's the man. It's the man.
You know,
It's the great.
it's
It's
the
Pedro
man.
Pascal, dude. It's the man.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah. I
This
know.
dude rules. He absolutely rules, and I won't hear
He's had
anything
a
the contrary to it.
dude. He is like firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, he's awesome in The Last of
Right?
Us.
I mean, that is firing on all cylinders. He's having his moment. Good for him.
Rules. He rules. I don't know what it is. It's like he's kind of like a mix between.
What was he before Mandalorian? Sorry to interrupt.
He played Oberon Martell in Game of Thrones. What was he
Oh,
called?
duh.
The most badass character basically in all of Game of Thrones, next to Tyrion.
Yeah.
Or next to Bronn, I guess. But yeah, he was Oberon, and then I think he's had a long career before that, just in smaller bits. He's a Narco as well.
Marco. Right. That was right. He was in Narcos. Yeah.
But
No, I'm.
what a cool story, dude. I mean, he just comes from Santiago, Chile, and is now like the biggest fucking star in Hollywood right now. Dude rules. He rules. But my point is he's sort of like this blend of like Burt Reynolds from like Deliverance era, Burt Reynolds and
Mhm.
and like Harrison Ford. There's like a weird. I don't even know how to describe it, but he's unique in that way, and his delivery is he can. There's this whole idea of like actors that have like they command a voice, not like an accent. They're not doing an accent. They're doing like a voice. It's like something like Daniel Day-Lewis does. He's not necessarily he's doing an accent, but it's also he's changed the cadence and delivery of his voice, and he
Right.
does that really, really well. It's pretty impressive. Like he can do great accent work and so forth, but he can also just like change the way he speaks entirely.
You see, that's what I'm. Yeah. I mean, that's cool to see. Like that we have still have that. You know, like because nowadays though it's like the movie star is kind of a rarity.
Yeah, I think
It's
you're
not as
right.
common as it used to be. You know, it was more properties
Yeah, I think I
for a
think.
little bit of time.
Did you hear? I think Tarantino said something about this, and I think it came off as people considered it an insult, but I think he was making a good point in that there was like an era in filmmaking where it was about the movie star,
Hmm.
starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, starring Tom Cruise, starring Charles Bronson, like these guys were the thing, and
Right.
and now it's kind of like starring Captain America, starring Thor, starring. I think he had. I mean, I know that he got a lot of backlash on the internet, but I think that's totally correct. I think it's now about branded characters and not about the actor playing them.
Yeah, and that's you know it in a way that's actually kind of cool. You know, in another way, it's just a different phase, right? Because when you think about it, we're very close to a point in time where we are not going to need really actors anymore
Hmm.
in the same capacity that we do now, right? I mean, what they're doing with AI is pretty incredible. Um,
Yeah, you thinking like they're just not going to be like they're just going to replace
it
like
would,
like you're going to have your
to
own
be an actor
like
would be a little different.
right like Caesar or something from Planet of the Apes. Like you're going to make a character whole cloth, not starring anybody. Even though obviously it was Andy
Yeah,
Serkis making that happen, but and animators. but it's going to be even beyond that. You think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, don't you think that like the collaborative, some people like, there's some directors that just don't like, um, you know, they're the actors are just more of a, oh, I don't even know how to describe it. They're more of like a have to have. They're more of a requirement than something that they look forward to using. You know?
Yeah, I think George Lucas said that back in the day that he would
Yeah.
prefer animation over actors.
Right. So because he can control them a lot more uh, and whatnot. So you know, they're gonna. It's gonna be for some people. I think that's gonna be, you know, the like just telling my story and that's it. And I don't need to hire anyone and I don't need anything to do that. You know, I think there'll be people that are going to be successful in doing that. And that might lead to a movement. You never know.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's
Of
I don't
you
think
know,
there's anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Like I wasn't quoting Tarantino in that situation because I think that it's a bad thing. You know, I think it's a great thing that of these characters that, you know, Batman is a character now. Like that's like our childhood dream, you know, bring Spider-Man, bring
hmm
Batman to life and then have the movie be about them and not about an actor playing them. Like that's amazing. That's awesome. That's like the coolest thing that could
right,
possibly happen.
yeah,
So I think yeah, I think what you're to your point, like technology is going to allow for even more incredible stories to be told that aren't relying on what Hollywood movie star is playing that character.
and also just in the same capacity, like having the look right. Like I saw AI video of like somebody taking a cell phone selfie footage, you know, walking down the street, and they were able to change themselves in AI to like a person that's like, you know, with like, you know, a chiseled jaw, muscular guy walking down like a cyberpunk street, and it changed to a woman walking down a like on a beach or something like that, all from like just a cell phone footage.
That's yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
you know what I mean? So like the applications, like what does it mean to be then? Like where do you get performance out of it? I think it brings up a really interesting question for sure, and it's just the medium's going to evolve. I know that.
Well, and they'll have to be performance, right? Because there is the uncanny valley that will occur. You know, like to go back to the Caesar in Planet of the Apes analogy, like without the actors performing those characters that I, you know, basically like fell in love with and wanted to see more of, like Koba and Caesar and all the other characters in this that were like completely generated.
Hmm.
There were no physical actors on set. Well, they were, but
Right.
you know what I mean. They were digital.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's a huge deal. I think like that's going to be
I think
a
so.
major like that uncanny valley thing will have to be solved.
Yeah. I think they. I haven't seen the last Avatar, but what they're doing with Avatar, I think, kind of signaled like Zemeckis has been trying to do it too forever.
Forever.
Like, you know, Tintin and like, um,
Polar
is
Express.
having a. Say again.
And like Polar Express, things like that.
Yeah, Polar Express and who did? What did Spielberg do? Tintin.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson did Tintin. He directed it.
They might have done it together, but I think it was
Oh, okay.
I think they worked. Maybe they worked on it together. I don't know.
Well, you know, regardless, it's like that's what I mean. Like it's like they've been trying to kind of have, you know, more control over things like performance and whatnot, and how to bring reality to it. And I mean, I think that what AI is doing is going to be pretty impressive in terms of it being able to analyze the video and then give you the control over it.
Yeah, I
is
think
you
so
could then
too.
start to train your own models too, which I think that's where it's freaking cool.
Dude, how crazy is that going to be to eventually, because there's no way this won't happen, but to eventually simulate performance by training an AI in like every actor that exists, right? Like I want an actor that is Marlon Brando, Daniel Day-Lewis, all these like super crazy method actors. Throw Dustin Hoffman in there, like combine all these kinds of people together, you'd get absolutely nuts kind of stuff out of there.
Right. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like in terms of like what does it mean to be then a working actor in the in the industry? I don't know.
Oof.
I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking out of my ass here, but because it's like
I mean, we're
I know like
slightly in
it's a
science
big thing in
fiction.
the
But
arts. Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, listen, man, I'm sculpting out of symmetry. Like I obviously am a crazy person. So,
he's sculpting out of symmetry, folks. He's lost it. He's crazy.
do you have any questions? I haven't looked at the chat, and I feel really bad about that.
No, there are no questions yet.
No? Okay. So, holy moly, that's a lump there.
Dude, so anyways,
Um,
we're gonna try and do Robocop. No, we did Robocop. We're gonna try and do Punisher. But there was
oh
some
my
other
God,
like
yes.
obviously we'll have to do Total Recall. I'm looking forward to watching Total Recall, but not Total Recall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's so
Yeah,
bad. It's so bad.
it
It's like the
it wasn't.
Jessica Biel show. Like that's what it felt like to me. Like they weren't like trying to make a movie. It was just like let's look at Jessica Biel. That's what it felt like.
Dude, I don't even. I know I've seen it. I know I've seen it. I don't remember it. That's how bad. Like I don't remember it
Don't worry,
at all.
you didn't miss anything.
It's kind of scary though. Like I was thinking to myself, like,
This was the
how do
same
you not
thing that
remember an entire movie?
This is the same
You
thing
know?
that happened though when I last watched that movie. So a couple people I was with, they were like, "I didn't even know that this was made." It has
It
who is
was
in it?
when,
Colin Farrell's in it, really?
yeah. I mean, but it was during a time when the remakes of things were that was what was in. Like,
Yeah, it's probably
what had kicked
still
it off
in,
though?
but boy,
What was?
oh wait,
But I don't remember.
what kicked it off?
Yeah, yeah, because it wasn't. I could.
I
I'm
can't
damn
remember.
sure it wasn't. It wasn't Total Recall that kicked this off.
This discussion or the those remakes?
No, those remakes, because there was a whole bunch of remakes at the time. And I
Yeah,
was
there
like,
was like
"What?
a
They're doing Total Recall?
I think it was just
What?"
because at that time they were doing everything. Like Star Trek was successful, and so it was just
Right.
like let's just do everything. I'm glad they've finally cooled off a little bit, or at least as they've started making or continued making remakes, that they have at least tried to do like a super different take on them. Like Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Like that's
Right.
very very different than anything else.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yes, like 1,000%.
Like I know that movie wasn't successful, but for me, like I want to see Denny take on everything because he did an
Was
incredible.
Dune wasn't successful?
Um, I guess enough. No, oh, I'm sorry, I'm mixing them up. I think Dune was pretty successful enough that they're making the sequel. Um, but his Blade Runner was not successful, and I think that movie
Really?
is nearly perfect.
I think. Wow, that movie's a damn masterpiece.
It's super good. I know that maybe there's some
That's
weird
a
points in
that's
the
a
plot, but whatever. I thought it was really good.
that movie That movie's a damn masterpiece. That movie and Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, period.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
director's cut, not the final cut. Sorry, Ridley. Director's cut. You give me director's cut, first director's cut. Oh,
Yeah, that was
any
my
day,
favorite too, man.
any day.
The black box one. That
Oh,
yeah, it was like when they were putting out DVDs in those. It was only like one studio was doing it, but they were in paper black boxes or something. Anyways, that yeah, I'm with you on that. That was one of my favorites.
yeah. Well, you lent that to me, so that's how was able to see all that stuff. But
Oh, okay.
um,
That's the only
yeah,
difference in
that's
that one is
that's
they pulled the dialogue out, the narration.
and they put things in like the him at the piano. They pulled the ending's different too. Like you don't know
Oh, that's right. You're right.
what's and they there's like all these other like little things. The unicorn,
Oh, that's right. With
where he's sculpting it.
um, Edward James Olmos, his whole unicorn thing.
Yeah, yeah, that theme where he's dreaming about it and
Did we talk, dude?
dude,
This is sorry. This is a tangent. This is a little tangent, but did we talk about this? I think we have talked about this.
we
That
did because well, sorry.
no, but I
I'm
mean,
not even letting you finish.
I was gonna say the Edward James Olmos thing. I swear we talked about this, and that there's some like behind the scene footage on that Blade Runner that came out, and it's the same time that he was making Battlestar. And throughout the interview, he keeps calling replicants Cylons, and then like correcting himself. I swear we've talked about this on the podcast on the stream before, but it's so funny. Like he's like, yeah, and then you didn't know that Harrison was a Cylon. I'm a replicant. Like he had to keep like correcting himself.
Oh God,
This shit killed me.
that's great, man. I mean, oh, that's some good stuff right there. That is some good stuff.
I wasn't going
Oh
anywhere
my
with that.
God.
It was a random thought in my head.
No, no, no. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm just like, oh, that's great. Eddie, good old Eddie.
Good old Eddie. He wouldn't have made, he said
You
he wasn't
know,
going to make that show if any aliens showed up. I can just see him being like that. It's like, I'll make your show. But if any fucking aliens show up, I'm off. I'm walking off set.
oh God, I would too. I would too.
This probably
That's
came
awesome.
because he probably watched like some footage from the original Battlestar Galactica. And it's like, I don't want anything to do with that shit, but I'll do this.
Yeah, it was. So our good friend, Eric Johnson and I were talking, and I was like, hey, Hulu had just came out at the time. Do you know Hulu's 15 years old? Not a
Oh, no
sponsored
shit.
stream, by the way. But
That's
yeah,
sponsored.
and I remember when it first came out, right? We were in San Francisco, and so yeah, they had all sorts of like TV series on there, and it was
Yeah, they had like everything
all
at that
this was
time.
all free, everything, right? And it's like all the like the cheap stuff too. Like they had like so Battlestar was on there, and I was like, hey, I was telling Eric, I was like, hey, they have Battlestar on this. Should I like go down this deep rabbit hole? Because like I know some of the guys that did the effects for Star Trek wanted to do their own thing, and like, you know,
Yeah. And make it
and he
based
was
in
like,
Mormon universe.
right, it's just like, just be careful, right? And I'm like, okay, no problem. I don't even know what that means. And so
Just be
he
careful.
he's like, just be careful, right? And so like he was I the first episode I see, there's this guy, right? And I forgot the main Cylon king or something like that. The scene with him, and he's behind the chair, like you just see the back of his chair, and then you see him rotate, but you can clearly see him actually rotating it with his legs, like scooching his legs so you can kind of like rotate around the chair, like in a smooth motion.
Dude, I've never seen the original show, but I want to watch it just for that. Just
That's
for that.
I was the first impression. It was incredible. It was incredible.
Dude.
And I was like, I called him up immediately. And I was like, oh my God, I was watching with this. He was like, oh yeah, the guy, like you see his like knees moving, because he's got like a long cloak, like a long robe. Sorry, like a long robe. And can't see his legs, but you could see like the way it's cut is shot, it's just like a mid shot, so you barely see, but you can see his knees moving, like shifting across.
Dude,
I mean, I'm not going to show it on the stream, but yeah.
I hope you told.
Go look it up.
I hope you told Eric you need to have a bigger disclaimer than just be careful.
Yeah.
You
can see him saying it too.
Noah's asking me if any of my concepts are in the D&D movie. I don't know. I'll be surprised when I see it. I'm going to get a little advanced screening here soon. But I did see in the trailer that one of my old illustrations was kind of brought to life with this. One of the liches.
No way, really?
Yeah, there's like a red wizard in one of the trailers that looks pretty similar to one of the designs I did. So maybe they used some of the stuff, but I know that they did a lot of their own in-house, or they got other artists. I think I know a few of the artists that did concept work for that. So I didn't do any for the movie directly, but there's some stuff that I think that I did for D&D that somewhat shows up just because it's been part of D&D for a bit.
I don't know.
I'm excited for that.
I don't know why they wouldn't hire you though.
Oh yeah, I didn't do anything directly. But sometimes it's an industry thing, I guess. I'm not in the industry when it comes to like Hollywood concept art. I do illustration work mostly and do some concept stuff for tabletop. So maybe it was that. I don't know. It would have been cool to do some stuff.
Well, they're such different animals too. Like in certain ways. Like
yeah, I agree. And I'd be
like
a risk,
the movie stuff was like I was listening to Dermot Power. You know Dermot Power?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like dude's done everything. Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Fantastic Beasts, and all this stuff. Worked with Tim Burton. So he was like talking about how he could care less about turnarounds, and he saw all these whatchamacallit, these portfolios with concept art portfolios of people who had turnarounds.
Oh, right.
And he's like, I could care less. He's like, just get rid of that. It's so boring. Aren't you bored? And I was thinking to myself, like, well, if he's like, maybe it's for games, but I don't get why people would do that. And I'm thinking to myself, wow.
It's 100% for games.
It's for 100% for games. Like, you might not get hired because of that. Like, like
super important to the process.
So, yeah, it was just like and I realized like, oh, and then he kept talking, like, he's like, I was talking so-and-so about it, during this project, and he was saying the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. But I'm thinking like, well, you're not making video games. And he kept, he was like, maybe it's because I don't work in gaming, but I just think it's a huge waste of time.
Yeah, I guess I could play.
We'll do the turnarounds much later down the line, and then another thing I was gonna say was like but he did say he says, "Oh well," in the same interview, it, you know, the type of work that gets in depends on the director, because there's some directors that love finished like illustrations for their concepts, like photorealism, and other ones that hate it.
Right.
And so he's like, you have to be careful with what director you're going to use, or like you have to learn what your director likes.
Dude, that makes total sense, though.
And yeah, it does. Excuse me. It totally makes total.
I
It
mean,
totally makes total sense. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I can agree with him on the aspect of like I don't want to see turnarounds because I guess he's right in that for films that's something that can be solved later, and like the cool splashy ideas is what probably wants to see people's ideas in that respect. You know, like Ian McCaig's concepts of like Darth Maul, right? Like those weren't turnarounds. Those were like a splashy,
Right.
amazing illustration of a cool looking character. So I can see
Exactly.
that. I can definitely see that. But it's also like if you're
Which
shopping your
he comes from
portfolio
that
around,
school because
yeah.
he comes from that school because he worked with them. So that's like one of his gigs. So yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but totally. I mean that was kind of the end of my thought in that. Just that, yeah.
Oh,
It's like if that's what you're used to seeing. But also, if you're an artist and you're trying to get into the industry and you have concept art, you might have both of those things in your portfolio because you're trying to get into either films or video games.
right.
Hey, Alejandro,
Yeah.
I think Lake might have worked on the D&D stuff, but I'm not sure. I mean, he works on franchise stuff for D&D in house at Wizards, so he might have. But it's also, it was done by a film studio, so they might have Paramount might have used artists that they're more confident with when it comes to like they have a history of working on films. So just to answer your question, I
Talk
don't
about
know. I don't know if Lake worked on those films. He might have.
talk about the Lake Horowitz.
Yeah, you know Lake. You worked with Lake.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out to Lake Horowitz. Yeah. You imagine if Lake is actually in the movie?
I hope so. I hope he is.
The way you said that was hilarious. I hope he is.
You know what? I
I
hope he
dare him.
is.
I dare him. I dare you. I
I
dare
work,
you to show your
man. I work
face.
with Lake on so many projects. I'd be surprised if he didn't sneak into a movie.
That'd be, oh my God, that'd be hilarious. I don't know why that came over me. I apologize, Lake.
I don't think Lake's in the chat. Oh, hey, Alejandro's Lord Adornable from our Twitch. Hey, man, how's it going? Welcome.
Oh, we're right on, man. Lord Adorable. Yeah, man. Thanks for making the transition.
There's So, anyways, I don't. I'm trying to think of other good ones.
For your remakes, because I keep freaking derailing what you're trying to say.
No, it's not a derailing. I'm just bringing us back. I'm bringing us back
Yeah.
around.
No, good, good. Please, just don't let me do this anymore.
I
Just to
want
save me from myself.
like they haven't redone Master of the Universe, but that'd be a good one.
You know, so did you see did you see the Kevin Smith animated thing? That might actually like
Kevin Smith animated thing? What are you talking about?
yeah, he directed Masters of the Universe Netflix series.
Oh no, I didn't. I mean, we're trying to
Oh,
do it
okay.
in like an evening, so like a couple films is working. Will work a little bit better than
Oh, an actual remake, right,
than
right,
television
right.
shows.
Okay.
Television shows.
Okay. Um,
Like Conan.
let's see.
Conan, like
Don't do that.
no, that's
No.
the point though. The point is sometimes the other movie's going to be terrible, like Total Recall. Like potentially the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
which is I think one of the best.
I think it's great. He didn't have the skull on his chest. He didn't
No.
have Nick DeLuca. Yeah, I 100% agree. The original Planet of the Apes, and then the Planet, was it Matt Reeves? The Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes. That'd be really good. I I cannot watch the original True Grit. I cannot. Coen Brothers one is a masterwork. The the original one is intolerable to me. I cannot do it.
What about um the Thing?
Yeah, that could work. I didn't see the original, the new thing. And yeah, the thing could work. The thing could work.
What do you mean the new Thing? Did they redo the Thing?
Well, I guess they had the sort of prequel one. There is the original thing, which is amazing. The 1953, is it 53? Really old one,
Yeah,
black and white.
that's it. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, that'd be pretty cool. Do those two. And John Carpenter's one of the greatest movies ever made, The Thing. That'd be pretty good.
yeah.
Dracula would be good. I finally got convinced Kate to watch Bram Stoker's Dracula. And she was blown away. At the same time, freaked out about the sort of ups and downs of that movie, you know? Like sometimes it is absolutely trash, and then sometimes it's like unbelievably beautiful and well done.
I haven't seen it. Sorry.
I forgot.
Sorry.
I would propose.
Sorry.
I guess another one I would propose is the Karate Kid.
Pinocchio.
Oh,
Oh.
Pinocchio would be real good. Good call.
The Karate Kid. Oh my God. All right,
I-
so you're
I-
going deep.
Well, the Karate Kid and then the actual title, the Kung Fu Kid. They're both amazing. Kate's in
The
the chat
Jackie
now.
Chan one?
At least an uneven film. Correct. It's an Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola is an uneven film. That's a great way of putting it.
You made a lot of pasta. You made a lot of pasta during it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And wine, right? Does he make wine?
No, when he's like really stressed out, he makes pasta.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Hearts of Darkness. In Hearts of Darkness, there was like a typhoon that came through and like was wrecking the set, and like he was already like over budget. Like he had like put his house on as collateral or something like that, and like a huge typhoon. Okay. Yeah, and so he's like, and then his wife is narrating this thing. I could be messing up the details, but it's definitely the general gist.
This
of it.
is no, everyone. This is entirely apocryphal. None of this occurred. Ray's making up everything right now.
So, and then he, you see him like, his wife is like narrating the whole thing, and she's got all this film with like the typhoon hitting the area, and he was like, and so, and in the midst of all of this, Francis did what he always did when he had his back was against the wall or something like that, and he had nothing to lose. Like he made pasta. He listened to opera music. He blasted opera music and listened to pasta, and then they like faded into like, and he's like just making pasta in the kitchen, like he's just cooking like a maniac.
I kind of like this though.
Like this typhoon's in it.
It's like
Dude,
meditative. Like he's in meditation.
the best. The best. So he what I would say is he might have had a lot of pasta if it were like, inconsistent. I mean, it's not even funny anymore. But yeah, so it's funny if you got it.
It's funny, dude. It's funny. Come on, don't beat yourself up about this. This is a good joke. Okay, so yeah. So, anyways, a lot of remakes out there. Can't catch them all. You know, arguably Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Those two remakes.
No. Can you imagine if they remade Army of Darkness?
I can't. That's not allowed. That's like I still to this day will not watch Ghost in the Shell remake. And if they redid there's two movies that if they redid I would not watch. One would be if they redid Army of Darkness, and two would be if they redid Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh yeah, well, I'd fly wherever. I would spare no expense to protest that in a heartbeat. But I will get so. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it sucks because I think that the Ghost in the Shell remake probably has a lot of cool stuff in it that I'd like to see, but on principle, I can't do it. Anyways, go ahead. I was talking over.
So
you.
You're. Well, no. So are you? So you're not ruling out live action to animation as a remake, right?
Yeah, there's still remakes.
Or are you?
No, the remakes. The animated films were films.
Okay.
So
okay. Well, I don't know if you cross mediums.
No, I mean I'm a hardliner on it. Like when they make a live action version of an animated film, I'm always like, why? It was already a film. It was already a great film. Just making it live action is pointless.
But you're counting that in the. My point is, you're counting that in the as a possibility.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay. Because, there might be making a Akira live action. Did you hear this?
Yeah, they've been thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah,
the one with Taiko attached to it, possibly, and but they've been thinking about that for Evangelion. I don't think it would be wise to make a remake of Akira. I don't think
that's
it would
like
be
remaking. That what is that like remaking?
Ben-Hur, which I think they did for television.
That's like trying to remake Star Wars.
Yeah, like from nothing.
The original.
Yeah, like from nothing.
Yeah, that's like the special. Yeah, it's just like.
That's interesting.
Or making Star Wars into like an animated feature film.
Yeah.
Like it was built for the medium.
It would. I think if you're like a real filmmaker and really like film, and you're gonna make Akira as a film, you have to approach it the way Akira was approached. You have to be like, well, we have to be just as groundbreaking. We have to make a film that people will think was impossible to make. Like Akira is an impossibly animated film. It's unreal what went into it. And you love animation. You love the history of animation. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Like whatever they pulled off should not have worked. That's how if you're going to do it, you'd have to do it in that spirit. Make a live action movie that when people go out of the theaters, they're like, that's impossible. That can't have been a film.
Well, the funny thing is, it was trying to be a live action movie in a way, and then also trying to push at so many aesthetic, like takes, cues from live action.
Yeah, the sort of simulating certain kinds of shots and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, which is why it was like incredibly, like how did they animate that? That sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Why even bother?
I would not be interested, really. I mean, in a way, I guess I'd be interested in the interpretation this many years later. But it's a perfect movie. Don't touch it. It's like,
but aren't there other?
We don't need to remake a Shawshank Redemption right now. Nobody does.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's my point. Like, aren't there other stories to tell?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean isn't this what
You
we
know?
were complaining about back when all these remakes were being made? Like, can we just tell new stories?
Yeah. Like
It's
you
an
could
interesting
take
take.
yeah. I People do whatever they want to do, obviously, but I don't know. I think they're better stories to tell that have taken what Akira's done. Akira will always be Akira, but you can build off of like the the legacy of it, and do
Yeah.
something, equally as groundbreaking.
Right. And I mean, okay, so I don't want this to sound or come off, and maybe it already is, but of us just griping about remakes that were made. I understand their place, right? It's like theater, right? Like they've been doing Shakespeare since the 1600s. Um, there's having people to get new takes on stories is great. It's a good thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. Um, but there's also some things that I like am really attached to and don't really care to see a new interpretation of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it makes total sense. And we talked about how we like certain remakes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
You know, I mean, we're not anti-remake. I just think that there's certain ones that are like, I don't know, I've had their day. But that being said, I would say I would okay, here's the thing. That I'm like, don't try and do. I'm talking about taking Akira and then trying to make it live action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does live action offer? Like, it's like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, what's the point, right? Like
What's the what's the point? Yeah.
that maybe that's my main gripe is sort of like that. To me,
Yeah.
this was a film. Like, I don't want to see a live action version of Princess Mononoke. That's a perfect film. I don't need to see that.
Right.
But
Right.
this leads me
Right.
to an interesting question though. Question for you. Question for me. Is there a movie that hasn't been remade yet that you think should get a remake? Because I have one in mind. But I want to hear what you think.
Hmm. I think the Duelist.
The Duelist, dude. I just got art director friend of mine at Wizards to watch The Duelists. He'd never even seen it. I 100% agree. A new Duelists
Yeah.
would be awesome. It
I think you could.
For all you folks out there who don't know of The Duelist, it's one of Ridley Scott's first movies, and coming from me, a person who's obsessed with sword fighting, it's probably the best depiction of true historical sword fighting on screen ever done. And it's a beautiful movie.
Right. It didn't let the details, or it wasn't handicapped by its own historical accuracy.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really well done. That's a good one,
yeah.
man.
No,
Damn.
I'm
Well done. Great answer.
but thank you, man. What's yours? What's yours? I thought you were
Um,
gonna say the Duelist too.
no, I've got a couple actually that I think. Well, the second one just slipped my mind, but the first one would be The Never Ending Story.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
I think that would be. I like The Never Ending Story, but the hindsight of it is
I've actually I
it's
haven't watched
rough.
it since. Okay, I haven't watched it in like since I was a kid.
It's just that the special effects, the special effects aren't great. There's some of it's really really good. Some of the special effects are really really good, but some of them are just really bad. But I think that with the way we can do visual effects now, holy shit, there's some really cool, like there's some really amazing stuff that could be done with that story. God, I wish I
Okay,
could remember the other
I'm
one. I
down.
cannot remember the other one.
Um, I think they should. You know what I would like to see them remake? Uh,
Sorry.
the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Dude, I love that movie so much. Okay. Haven't they done that
I
though?
wouldn't mind that. No. I mean,
Didn't they do one
yes,
recently
did,
with like digital ones?
yeah. But that doesn't. That's like that was Michael Bay and
Okay, so a remake of the remake, but without Michael Bay involved. Huh?
I don't know, dude. Listen, man. I've been like really me nowadays. I'm just like I'm happy that they gave a bunch of artists a bunch of money to do some work on it. Hopefully the working conditions weren't awful,
Yeah, hopefully the
but I'm
special
glad people
effects people
made
got paid
things.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, and that people are still talking about it. I mean, I'm interested to actually see Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I know
Yeah.
some,
That
like
was
I
just
follow
brought
some
up
of
in
the
the
artists
chat.
that have work on it, man, and it looks. There's a bunch of people from uh, Spider-Verse and
You must be a
who also
Teenage Mutant
worked
Ninja Turtles fan then, huh?
at. As a kid, I was. Yeah,
No,
as a kid, I
I mean
was.
Seth Rogen. I mean Seth Rogen.
Oh, Seth Rogen. Oh, yeah. Seth and I, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Seth and
Or,
me, we're big Ninja Turtles fans.
huge.
Were you? Are you
So
like old school? Do you go back to when it was like, all the turtles had red headbands, and
no,
you're not like that old
no,
school.
no. I was a generation like just before that, so I wasn't like reading the Kevin Eastman stuff. And whatever floats your boat. I mean, I was the '80s cartoon. You know, yeah, '80s cartoon. 30-minute or hour-long with commercials, toy advertisement. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So so here, I have a question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie?
God, man, that was like seeing that movie. I didn't realize how dark it was. That was like life changing.
Dude, it's dark, and it has I
It's
think
really dark.
one of the
Yeah.
most underrated actors of all time, the Elias Cotier, or Elias Cotier. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name.
The guy who played
Guy,
Casey Jones.
yeah, the guy who plays Casey Jones. He's amazing,
Dude,
but
he's
he's
like,
always amazing.
yeah, he was in Crash, right? Or
He's in a lot of stuff,
one of
and
those movies.
he's one of those character actors just in everything. But it also had Kevin Clash, the Kevin Clash, who did Elmo's voice. He does Splinter's voice.
He did?
Yeah, he's a legend, an absolute legend.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
I
that.
love that movie, and they did like a really good. For me, they did like a really nice like bring the cartoon to life situation, like
Right.
Shredder,
While also
Shredder
bringing the
practical and normal and stuff.
yeah, while also bringing the comics too, because I didn't realize how until later on how much of the comics was actually into that.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. Just
It's just so good.
the way the Foot Clan was designed. The fact that they weren't robots. You notice that.
That's right. I never put that together as when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The differences, I guess. I really liked that one. It was in my childhood. It was like huge to me. The soundtrack. I had the soundtrack. I had that like weird like sort of rap theme song that they did for it. I fucking loved it.
Dude, I saw him on Broadway. Okay.
Wait. Okay, now we're talking about something else here. You're talking about which was huge for me when I was a kid too. Is the Coming Out of Our Shells concert Are you talking about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah,
I talk about
yeah. I
this
saw
with
it
my
in Radio
friend.
City Music Hall.
That was I had that I played that VHS or not VHS cassette tape until it was broken.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
It's so corny
My
looking
my
back
mom
at it.
my mom still talks about it because she said that was the she said that my face was like worth every penny. Like it was
Coming
really
out of
sweet
our
that she was
shells.
dude, I don't even remember it. I don't want to watch it again. I don't want to watch it. I just remember it being nuts.
I
Like
think, dude, I think you
that was
should. I think you should reward yourself and watch
no.
it because I
I'm
have
not gonna do
everyone.
it. I'm not gonna do it.
I have those songs memorized. I know them all still to this day.
Should do maybe we should do like one of the turtles.
That'd
That
be
could
kind
be
of
an
fun.
interesting take. I mean, a lot of people have like kind of
Yeah, Dave Raposa's kind of
have
like
done it.
put a nail in the end of that. Like his reimaginings, or I don't even know what you'd call them. His just like fan art pieces of the turtles are so good.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, amazing. I mean, I
I
don't
would.
have anything else to say. I mean, I wanted to always take a crack on like, Conan is something I wanted to always take a crack at. You know, uh, but turtles are somewhat it's a little different.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're
But I'm
they're different. They're cool.
dude, are we past?
No, we're
I think we're
6. I
past
was just
time.
checking time real quick. We're at
Are
6.
we? Are we? Oh, okay.
We got half an hour, 20 minutes or so.
Okay, good. Okay.
So what was okay? Yeah. So the other one I was thinking of that would be interesting as a remake. Oh, I lost it again. I'd found it while you were talking, and then I lost it again. Must not be that important. Oh well, maybe it'll come back to me in a sec. If you're saying something and I blurt it out, it's because
Okay.
I remembered.
All right, so let me ask you a question. How do you append another mesh? There
No
you go.
idea, dude. No idea.
You are useless.
I
Okay,
can't
got it.
remember anything. I mean, I know you can like drop in objects and then merge them.
No, I got it. Got it. Can't help anymore.
Great.
You hear that? I don't need your help anymore.
Are you making an eyeball? Is that what you're trying to do?
No. I'll draw that in. I'm gonna paint on this thing like I did. I'm gonna light it in Blender and then just paint it. I really want to. So I've been experimenting with this technique, or this. I've been wanting to experiment with the. Well, I guess I have done some experience. You've seen them of doing a sculpt and then painting on top of it.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great way to work. Well, there's a lot of
know.
artists work that way.
I love it. I love it. And I just interviewed that guy Mike Thompson I was telling you about.
Yeah, someone gave you a compliment
And
in the chat about that, by the way.
oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they said you did a great interview.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I was so sick. I didn't tell you this. Oh my God. I was so sick. I had just like a really bad cold sinus, like cold. I'm still a little like nasally, but like it was, I
Oh
was
man,
like
that's the
just
worst.
coughing and yeah, it was wild. And like, I
Just
thought it
like
was
a
losing my
regular cold?
voice. Yeah, it was like a sinus, like the closest thing to a sinus infection, I think.
All right, so it wasn't like the dreaded
for me.
COVID.
No, it wasn't that. No, it wasn't that. No. But it was like not fun. And so, but I wanted to interview Mike. And so I was like just praying that I wouldn't cough, and he'd be like, "What is that?"
Gotta mute yourself.
But yeah, that's what I did. I here's something for those that will go see it. I did it through a Visual Arts Passage. Um, I was a guest host. Um, I will be doing more of that stuff, which should be it's going to be awesome. Uh, and I was just interviewing. So when I was with Mike, you'll notice that I'll like go and like drink something or like cough really quick, but I muted myself like maybe
Oh,
for
nice.
like maybe 10 times like throughout the whole thing. Yeah, there shouldn't be like a cough period. I was trying not to laugh, you know. Uh, it was bad. It was bad, you know. But Mike's so cool too, man. He was, yeah, he's great, really great guy. And also, he was part of that group of artists called the Stylist League that I was telling you about.
Yeah, dude, that's right. That's right. You should maybe
Yeah.
explain to the chat who this guy is so that they know what you're talking
So
about.
Mike Thompson he's an illustrator who
Super good.
did a lot
Super
of
good.
like yeah, he did stuff like he started off illustrating for Mark Echo in the 90s. It was like a basically just like a clothing manufacturer, like boutique. Like this was, yeah, boutique. And so he did a lot of the t-shirts. And like during my time in school, that was like, wow, you know, you got an Echo Unlimited shirt. It was like, because they had all this hip hops like
Yeah,
artists
yeah.
like Wu-Tang Clan and you know, everything, yeah, everyone. So he then went and then started doing a lot of more traditional stuff, mostly like advertising, and he did a lot of started to do movie poster designs, and he ended up doing, long story short, like just a bunch of stuff for just tons of different movies. He won a Clio award for two Clios actually for Hidden Figures. He did a poster for that,
Oh wow.
and he also did a bunch of box art and video game cover box art, and like he's just like a working illustrator, man. Like he just did
Yeah.
everything, right? And he did a lot of the GI Joe and like DC limit unlimited like figurine toy boxes,
All right, like through
and
sideshow and stuff like that.
not through Mattel, through
Mattel. Okay.
Mattel. Yeah, like they're just like basic action figures. But then he ended up eventually working for Sideshow, uh, doing some. I think he's done two or three projects with them, and one of them has come out. And he had a Clone Wars Maul versus Ashoka
Oh,
piece. That's
nice,
his.
dude.
Um,
That's cool.
and so he when he was working on GI Joe, he was like having problems trying to figure out how to get reference for things that really like don't exist. And he had a bunch of buddies. At first, he used Poser to kind of like to help augment things, and he was trying to do that. He was using Daz. I mean, this was like back in like 15, 20 years ago. No,
Yeah.
like 15 years ago. Like like yeah, maybe 10 years ago. But he then
Daz. 10 years ago,
turned
Daz.
to
Crap.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Uh, crazy that still it was around, you know. And so then he started his friends, a bunch of buddies that he knew were using ZBrush, and he was like, "All right, I got to learn that." And so then he started using ZBrush to sculpt a bunch of stuff, prep his reference, and then would paint on top of that. And I saw him doing. He does a lot of streams for Pixel Logic. Um, he the people who make ZBrush, for those who don't know, and that's how I saw him. He was doing this like sculpture or this ZBrush sculpt of Bishop from the X-Men, and it was like, what the, you know.
That's such a
Um,
like. Oh, it's such a time sink to like sculpt everything and then paint it. Oh, it's such a. It's something I've like. I use Daz, and I'll use other things, but I know the ideal situation is for me to sculpt the whole thing. Like that's the ideal. But damn, it's a time sink. I know why Thomas Blackshear had a hard time with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. And like I think like I think with him too, he's he works in advertising, so I think he's able to kind of do that, and it works faster for him. And I think it's also just kind of getting to a fast result efficiently. I
Yeah.
think and knowing what to use it for, because I've been looking at Raphael Grizzetti, Ralph Grizzetti. Ralph Grizzetti's. Of course, you know Ralph
Yeah,
Grizzetti's work.
he's for the
Yeah,
chat who doesn't know, he's a like
yeah,
the lead sculptor at Santa Monica Studios for like God of War stuff. He's absolutely amazing.
God of War stuff.
Absolutely
The
amazing.
guy's like freaking just, oh God, But you don't have to take our word for it. So he, uh, he has uh, this tutorial series on Gumroad talking about 3D sketching, and he's so fast with ZBrush, but the way he does things is like super efficient.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
excuse me. And the way he's like, he mask and extract, it's really simple, and he just puts things into place.
dude. I think that, yeah. I mean, this is
And so,
obviously my major issue is that I'm not fast enough, and I need to get there, and that's all.
well, that's also like, that's the thing. Like, it's like, oh, okay, so there is a plausible way of doing it. Is basically what I'm saying. Like, it's like, oh, okay, like that makes sense now. Like, I can actually work like that if I work fast enough.
Hmm.
But I have to be on ZBrush a lot, basis like you were saying before, because otherwise you just will forget everything, and you know you have to relearn it again.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you got to build the muscle memory. I mean, I don't know why it's a
Yeah.
mystery to me in that way, because this is how we became professional artists. Is you got to put hours and hours and hours into something, and not just skimp out of it. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I
I
know,
just got to
dude. But
apply the same. Yeah.
sometimes it gets a little exhausting, though. You
No, of
know,
course, of course.
it
I just I just got to
which are-
remember to remind myself that I got to dig in like I did with painting and drawing the same way.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's just, but it's borderline flippant though too, right? It's like, because it's like that's a lot of work, and like we don't have as much time as we did as when we were students either. We have other
Yeah,
responsibilities,
dude, absolutely.
so
That's the hard part.
it's not like, oh yeah, no problem. There are other things to consider, um, and learning new workflows it's tough, because you can learn a new workflow, but um, it's all about also getting it so that you're fast and efficient with it.
Yeah,
And
it's like
that takes an
changing
ass load of
sports.
time.
It's like changing sports,
Yeah.
like Bo Jackson.
Well, those are freaking nature.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like he's a freaking.
You'll never be Bo Jackson. You'll never
I'm
be
not.
Bo
That's.
Jackson.
I'm not. That's my
Okay.
point. I'm saying I'm never gonna be Bo Jackson. Like
You're never gonna be.
I
You're
can't.
never gonna be.
Switching to learning to be really proficient in ZBrush to me is like changing sports. I can't.
I just, I also, truth be told, love. I really, really like doing this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I really like doing it.
Yeah,
And
dude, I love sculpting. Love it.
yeah, it's just it's right up my alley in terms of like the way I think. And I was telling Mike that. He was like, it just I like things. I'm really particular about things, and I could do that with sculpting. And he's like, yep, that's the reason why I wanted to do it, because I can get everything dialed in the way I want it to be.
Yeah,
But again, it depends on what you want too.
I'm the same. I'm the same. And what I run into, I think was my biggest hurdle and why I need to learn ZBrush is that the DAZ stuff they don't look like how I draw, right? I want things
Right.
to look like how I draw. And like a proportionally accurate 3D model does not look like how I draw. I draw things out of proportion on purpose, like for effect or for dynamism or whatever.
Right.
And so whenever I use that stuff, even when I use photo reference, I end up only using little bits of it because I want to keep like the weird proportions and like dynamic shape that I had created with my initial drawing. I want to get that back. So I think if I can like create a bunch of base meshes, kind of like what you said you did, you made a base mesh and then you're just kind of working with it. If I can create like a bunch of
Right.
base meshes that feel like one of my character drawings, then I can use it more proficiently for better things.
Right.
Kind of like
Yeah.
what John Foster does with it.
Right. Exactly what John Foster does. Yeah. That's 100% what he was kind of doing that. He the way he was describing it is like, well, I don't know if it takes much longer, but for me, but it's like really particular. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but like, look at the effects you get. And with like Mike's stuff, like you could tell like it. And what I'm noticing with mine's like while I'm doing this, I'm not afraid of drawing anything
Yeah.
at that point because I can, if as long as I have good reference, like you don't even need that good of reference either. You just need a lot of reference,
Yeah. I mean
right?
that's it.
It,
That's how I approach concept art is I don't need the precise reference. I just need tons of it in front of me.
right.
Um,
And
or with any
for
illustration.
for you it'd be like super fast. I think it would that stuff would happen for you. Um, I mean, for me, I just can't. I have issues just drawing things out of my head. I don't like the process of doing that. And I'm really particular about what I want and know it until I actually go see it. And I like specific lighting and everything like that. So this is like perfect for me because I literally can just mess around and be the director. And I
Yeah,
don't
to
have to worry
position
about
the
making a
camera.
good drawing. Yeah, it's just not my like it's like in my depth as an artist too. So it all depends on like what you want to do as a what your tendencies are, what you want to do as an artist either because it's like for what Mike does, it's like yeah, he's super tight and you need specific references for that, but also like he can get nuts with it too and not have to. He has a little bit more playroom, and I feel like with sculpture for me, it's like I could design more. Like I could just mess around with things and not have to worry about doing a bad drawing because I start worrying about that.
Hmm.
Like okay, it's got to look like something. It's got to look like something fast, and I just can't pull things out of my head the way I can with with sculpture. I can if I were drawing this, I don't know, I would be bored at this point, especially if I'm like, okay, if the light were coming here, how would it do that? I just get frustrated when I'm just guessing at it, rather just see it and then move the light around and design it like that. You know,
Yeah, well,
so
my
it's
approach is I just do it until I'm like super frustrated. Because I know the direct route would be for me to, instead of like fighting over drawing a pose just right, which I do all the time, like fight myself over it. I should just pose it in Poser and then it's done, right? Or even in Daz, and then export it in Sculpton or whatever, and then it's there. It's like perfect. But I just constantly, I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna draw it. I'm gonna draw it, and all the time I spend like
yeah.
wasting, beating myself up about trying to draw it just right.
Well, you also like the process of doing that in a sense that you are. I don't know, it also you have to kind of entertain yourself too, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain amount of like I like that I was able to make that thing without getting too much
Yeah.
reference. But when there's a certain look I'm going for, like accurate lighting or just a cool camera angle, yeah, I have to double down on getting good reference.
Well, then also I'm like, for me, I can. The thing with sculpture, the cool thing about it is I can change the camera angle, which is awesome because I don't have to redraw and think like, oh God, what does he look like here?
Yeah, that might be one of my favorite
Like I
aspects
could just
of those tools is the fact that I can like change the lens. Like I can make it an 80 millimeter lens instead of a 35 millimeter lens.
Exactly.
I discovered this with like I was painting a horse for an illustration job, and I realized I had to kind of go down a rabbit hole on like photographers who photograph horses for magazines and whatever, nature photography, and they all use a particular lens for horses because they're such a huge animal. And so I went into DAZ because I was using a horse model in DAZ, and I changed the lens on the camera to that kind of lens, which I think for horses they use like 70 to 80 millimeter lenses, and it changed everything. Like the horse all of a sudden looked normal because we're all just super used to looking at horses shot with a particular camera lens. And this was I got this from friend Kieran Yenner. He was telling me to like watch out for for humans. It's mostly 35 because of film. We're used to seeing humans at 35 millimeter. But yeah, and that was a huge thing. It was really interesting how optics came into the mix there on making a horse look correct.
That's I didn't even think about that. Just like the idea of optics like that.
Yeah,
it's
it was
actually
I didn't either.
Pretty awesome.
It was mind blowing. And it made me rethink like the way I position my camera in DAZ now a whole bunch. I'm like, okay, let's see what a person looks like with an 80 millimeter lens, or like like Tarantino shot The Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter Panavision.
Right.
Now that's he's talking about the film there, not the lens. But like when you start playing around with aspect ratios and lenses, and you get some really cool effects.
Well, I'm a huge fan of just that. Exactly. Like what if we did this? What if we did that? Like that's where I think I enjoy working the most, is when I give myself a bunch of options to pick from because I really don't know what I want, and then I'll just go about kind of like doing it. That makes sense. Like like yeah, like I can, like with this for instance, like okay, like I probably made his head too small, right? But it's not a big deal. Like it's all, I don't care about that. I could just make it larger.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, oh, like I have to redraw everything.
Right. You can tweak the proportions.
Yeah, and it could. There you go. You see, like if I wanted a bobblehead Conan. Oh my God, Tyler.
It's a whole new market, dude. Bobblehead Conans.
Dude, I think we nailed something on this.
Has it been done yet?
It kind of looks amazing. Kind of looks amazing.
Now you're like going to be messing with the Loomis proportions there.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Ray,
right?
We're like 2 minutes at time. We're 2 minutes away from time here. So.
Oh my God. Okay. So.
Have to wrap it up.
Oh no. I was going to go into Blender and everything like that. Just test my render.
Well, next week. Next week.
Will there be a next week, or will we just take another 4 months off?
We're making it happen. I don't have a con for a couple weeks. I don't have another convention till a few weeks from now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So let me center this so that people can see where I.
You missed it, John. We're ending, John. It's time.
Hey, John. Yeah, I know, right? We'll be back. I promise. Hey, that looks great, dude.
Thanks. I'm trying to.
It's
with the 1 minute that we have left, I was trying to think of like not the shirtless barbarian Conan, but like the like practical fighter, like leather armor, lightweight, maneuverable hoplite type stuff.
Yeah.
Practical fixes, like he wraps his bandages up because he's gonna fight, things like that. Like he's a fighter, not a
Yeah.
not a not just a thug.
Right. Yeah. I gotta start thinking about the design when I get to that. At that point, I have
Yeah,
so many
the implications of
questions for
costuming.
you too. Well, I got a
Yeah,
bunch of reference of like Viking culture and stuff, and we'll talk about, we'll mess around with it a little bit
or
longer.
no, right? That's a good question.
Um,
Like, what is a barbarian? It's a loose term that the Romans made up. But it doesn't. It has a lot of implications in fantasy
right.
and as well as history. But yeah, we'll save that for
Sweet.
next
All
time.
right. Yeah, man. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been Raymond Bonilla. You can find my work at raymondbonilla.com and Ray Bonilla Painter on Instagram. I also, if you're no, I don't. While I don't teach this, what I usually do, you'll see a lot of my fine art paintings. I do have a mentorship that I'm enrolling for starting at April 11th on sentient art, um, where I talk about how to basically train yourself up to become a gallery painter and how to go about approaching galleries and things like that. So if you're interested in signing up, we work one-on-one and we work in small, like a really small group. You can go check out my link tree on Instagram for that. So yeah. Do you have anything else, Tyler? I mean, who are you?
I am and always will be Tyler Jacobson. I don't have anything going on currently. Just doing my usual work stuff. I'm kind of on a big concept gig that's gonna last a couple months, so I'm just heads down on that. But yeah, anything crazy comes up, I'll bring it up and I'll post it on my social media. But where you can find me on Instagram is at Tyler Jacobson Art, and my website is www.tylerjacobsonart.com. And that's me signing off.
Awesome. And so thank you everyone who's catching us live, as well as people who are catching us on demand. I really appreciate it. If you can give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing, we very much appreciate that. Definitely does help out the stream. And feel free to hit the notification icon so you know when we go live. To be caught up on any announcements that we have or anything that we're offering in the show, feel free to follow us on Instagram at LiveBrush. And without I guess outside of that, we'll see everyone next Wednesday at the same time. Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks, Ray. See you then.
See you then.